You're about to witness a live television moment so unexpected, so raw, that it left the audience frozen, the crew in shock, and viewers at home glued to their screens. It was the kind of scene that doesn't just make headlines, it changes the way people think about authenticity in front of the camera. During a regular broadcast, a respected political correspondent stepped into the spotlight for what seemed like another standard segment. She was dressed in her usual polished style, a fitted pencil skirt, a crisp silk blouse, and a tailored jacket that matched perfectly. Her calm smile suggested nothing out of the ordinary, and the anchor's warm greeting set the tone for what everyone assumed would be a routine discussion. But within minutes, the air in the studio shifted. She looked directly into the camera and asked the audience a simple but piercing question: what parts of ourselves do we hide, even from the people closest to us? Before anyone could fully process the meaning, she began to act. With controlled composure, she unfastened her blazer and slipped it off, neatly placing it on the back of her chair. Then she adjusted the hem of her blouse and revealed what she wore underneath: comfortable leggings and a high-neck sports bra, her true weekend attire. The studio went silent except for the faint intake of breath from the crew. She paused, holding the gaze of the camera with steady eyes. This is me when the cameras are off. No bright lights, no perfect outfits. Just me, she said in a voice that was calm yet carried a weight that settled over the room. What followed was not a gimmick or a stunt, but a raw conversation about identity, public image, and the invisible armor people wear in professional spaces. She spoke about the constant balancing act between her authentic self and the polished persona expected in a national newsroom. She opened up about how draining it can be to always present a version of yourself that fits an audience's expectations while keeping your true personality tucked away. The moment was about more than clothing, it was about peeling away the layers, both literal and emotional, to let people see the human behind the role. The reaction in the studio was electric. Producers admitted they were shocked, yet deeply moved by the honesty they had just witnessed. Camera operators quietly hit record on every angle, knowing this was a piece of television history in the making. Makeup artists froze mid-stroke, their brushes hanging in the air. Every person in the room could feel the weight of what had just happened. It wasn't just a wardrobe change, it was a statement about vulnerability in a world that often demands a facade. When the segment streamed live, social media lit up instantly. Starbuzz feeds were flooded with clips and comments praising her for showing her real self. "This is the most authentic journalism I've seen in years," one viewer wrote. Another said, "She gave us her truth, not just her image." Mental health advocates jumped into the conversation, pointing out how powerful it was to see someone in such a high-pressure, public role dismantle the stigma around showing emotion and humanity. Other journalists began sharing their own experiences, admitting how often they felt trapped behind the mask of professionalism. One reporter even revealed that seeing her bravery inspired them to stop hiding a part of their own life from their colleagues. The ripple effect was immediate. From newsrooms to corporate offices, people began talking about the cost of constantly performing for others and the freedom that comes from showing up as your true self. The broadcast became more than a trending clip, it became a conversation starter in homes, workplaces, and online communities. Even days later, clips continued circulating, with Starbuzz reporting that the moment had sparked debates, inspired think pieces, and reached millions of views worldwide. People weren't just watching, they were reflecting on their own lives, questioning how often they hide behind an image just to be accepted. Her gesture, simple as it seemed, reminded everyone that strength isn't just about holding everything together, sometimes it's about letting people see when you're not. Vulnerability, she proved, can be just as powerful as confidence, and the two aren't opposites but partners in authenticity. She didn't just remove her blazer and blouse, she removed the invisible barrier between her and the audience, making the broadcast feel intimate and real in a way that's rare in modern television. The moment showed that transparency can be transformative, and it left a mark not just on the viewers but on the entire industry. In a media landscape often dominated by rehearsed soundbites and carefully managed appearances, this was a raw, unfiltered look at the person behind the role, and that's why it will be remembered for years to come.